hoarder?
I am a hoarder. I have to admit it. I don't throw away anything. I have shoeboxes full of baseball cards. I mean, I can't part.
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Do you know how valuable those could be?
Greg, can we go through your baseball cards? Like, let's see if there's any. We should go through your baseball cards on the air. Go get a box of those baseball cards that you say is somewhere in your house, and let's just see what kind of value we find.
I would pay Greg Cody on a whim that he has some valuable cards. I would give him $500 right now for every baseball card in his house.
Hold on, of course. That's he is. Hold on, Greg. Wow, Greg, you're such a sucker. Greg, how are you the kind of idiot that would fall unseen for a $500 fee? You're going to give Stugotz about 1,000. If you have baseball cards from when you were young, Greg, he just ripped you off live in real time in a way that anybody in our group would pay you $500. I feel like for your unseen baseball cards. If you're saying you have a treasure trove of baseball cards,
right? Cody Estate is denying that. The Cody Estate is denying Stugotz's request.
Well, my saying "wow" does not constitute a legal agreement. I mean, come on.
Okay.
Let me. I'm going to put down the phone and see if I can find him. Hang on.
There could be like a Mickey Mantle rookie card in there. I mean, Greg goes back a long, long way. To the beginning of baseball.
I love that your first instinct was to rip him off.
I'm going to. Greg, $1,000 for every baseball card. And you're at $1,500 for every baseball card.
You're negotiating against yourself right now.
And someone else was going to match.
This is like a bizarro auction where you just keep interrupting yourself with higher bids.
It's because he knows he's got the ripoff. He knows that we've all seen that he's got the ripoff, and now he's afraid of a bidding war. So this is how the Cardinals got J.J. Watt. You just saw it right there.
I thought they were in my office closet, but they're not. So they have to be in my beautiful garage. So I'll be a couple of minutes.
Okay.
This is I'll take you guys on the journey. I'll show you.
Of sight unseen. It's the idea of, because
this is storage wars.
This is, but no, it's more like, let's make a deal. You might get a box with goat shit in it, but you might also find a Mickey Mantle original.
Also, Greg Cody might get bitten by a spider.
Greg was a big Red Sox fan, right?
Hold on. Chris Cody, let's do this as video and audio. Chris Cody right now, let's do play-by-play. Greg, you're in the garage. The garage is a bit awful. It's filled with hoarded items from the 1980s. What did you
get? Gerald Ford for president sign. Oh my God.
All right, let's go through this garage of the hoarder here.
Greg has to do a garage sale.
All right,
that actually looks to be in good condition. You could probably fetch a nice $1 for the Gerald Ford for president sign.
Greg, $5,000 for everything in that garage.
Chris, this dump of a garage, Chris. You need to get this estate you need to get your affairs in order, Chris, right now, and realize that you can on eBay sell that Gerald Ford thing that he just has in pristine mint condition. Like, my guess is that by itself is worth $5,000.
A cassette?
He does have a cassette.
Chris, give us some play-by-play.
He has a cassette.
Greg, give us some play-by-play of what you're finding in your garage.
What is this? It's a cassette tape. I have no idea why I still have it or what's on it.
It says Wilford Cody, 1440. Wow, your address.
Wow.
Song collection.
There you go.
Oh, we got to hear it. We have to hear it.
There's no way he has a cassette player.
At random, here's the first baseball card. I picked Dean Chance, pitcher for the Minnesota Twins, 1966.
All right, let's find out what that's worth. That looks like it's in pretty good condition. Billy, let's do this in real time. Let's find out. Let the first card, give us some more information on the card. Hold on, Greg. Give us the manufacturer. Give us some more information on Dean Chance, and so we can find what that card is worth, please. All the information on the card.
I'm seeing like top 380 at the top of it.
There's a very real chance that we are stumbling upon a treasure right now, a gold mine.
66.
I think I even see there's one on eBay from 67 of Dean Chance, and it is worth $4.
Okay, that is not a gold mine. That is just $4.
They add up, Dan.
We have the year before. We have the year before. I don't know. Let's see what else we have here, and let's see if we find anything of value. You guys look up some of this stuff as Greg Cody pulls it out. Greg, can we argue that it's in very good condition? Because I'm surprised some of that stuff in there looks like it's been there pristine for 50 years.
Yeah, most of them are in good condition. Some of them I wrote on, which devalues them completely.
The way this goes is that Dean Chance, just by being mentioned on our show, probably goes up in value. So
You taking notes? What were you writing on them?
Dean Chance was 20-9 one season with a 1.65 ERA.
Was it 66?
No, it was 64.
Hmm.
Do it in the postseason, Chance.
He was the youngest player to ever win the Cy Young.
I'm looking for a superstar here among my cards. I haven't seen one yet.
All right, but let's see. Just grab 4 or 5 here, and let's see if we find some costs. You're not going to get a lot earlier than 1966, are you?
Fun bit of trivia. He founded
Yeah.
the International Boxing Association.
Oh.
Wow.
Dean Chance and Kevin Lockery, and I can't pronounce words, and we're all senile.
Lloyd Bridges.
And Lloyd Bridges. Don't forget Lloyd Bridges. The show for 2021. Hey, everybody, give us millions and millions of dollars. We're really popular with young people. As we go through Greg Cody's Dean Chance cards in his garage. Greg, give us, Chris, give us some more play-by-play on what you're discovering.
Dean Chance is a great name, though, right?
It is, yes.
Yeah.
All these players from the 60s or whatever this was look the exact same. They're white and they look like this guy.
Ooh.
What's
Who is that guy?
guy's
Who
name?
is that?
This is Art Shamsky.
Oh, wow.
Here's Boog Powell of the Baltimore Orioles.
All right, so Boog Powell, is that a rookie card or is that a late card? Boog Powell, hold on, don't throw that away like that. I think that's got
It's
some
a late
value,
card.
Greg.
What year is the Boog
I
Powell
think the
card?
Boog Powell one has some value.
A manufacturer.
I'm looking. It says TCG at the very bottom. I don't see a year.
Manufacturer. Is there a manufacturer? Do you have the name of a company that makes that card?
They're all top cards, I think.
All right, look at the back so you can find out what year it was. Look at the stats.
I'm telling you, it's just I see his stats, but
Right.
in terms of like
It should be the year after that because
What's
you
the
can't.
final year, though, of his stats?
Thank
on
you
the
for
card?
explaining
Jesus
that. I was
Christ.
getting so
What's happening?
Chris, Chris, all right.
His career stats,
Chris,
every year he
Chris,
played.
just be quiet for a second.
Up until the
Will you stop? Both of you and everybody just stop, okay? We've got a couple of dope hoarders in a garage, generations of stupidity together,
Orders.
and they don't know what they're doing.
Ooh, Johnny Bench.
Are you kidding?
What year is that?
What?
Johnny Bench.
What
All
year does
right.
it say on the back of the
Holy
card?
shit.
What's the last year?
1971.
Okay, well, this might be the 71 set, which would answer the question of the Boog Powell one, because the 71 Boog Powell Topps card is going for 300 in some places.
Okay.
Wow.
Chris,
Oh, wow.
Chris, you're sitting on a fortune there, and
Let
you
me
don't
see that
know
Johnny
how to-
Bench again.
You don't know how to read baseball cards,
Okay.
Chris.
Okay, Dan, I can bring you these cards. They don't say 1 year on them. They say
Yes.
just his stats.
Chris,
Pittsburgh
the,
doesn't
doesn't
Chris,
understand.
you don't understand. The last year on the card tells you what year it is. The
Right.
last year on the card is
100%.
like Jesus Christ, Chris.
back of the card.
You're sitting on thousands of dollars and you don't know how to do math.
Stugotz, lower the bid. Lower the offer.
Both cards have a year that they were made at the bottom.
Lower it, Stugotz.
Greg,
down to like-
$500 for everything in that garage.
Go lower. Go lower. They don't know what they have.
You are in this case.
$5,200.
It's a
Ooh,
200.
Armen Killebrew.
I see 250
Are you
for the bench.
shitting me? You've got Killebrew?
What year?
What year is Killebrew? What year, Greg?
1971.
All right, so this is all 71 set.
So 71.
That Johnny Bench one's expensive in 71.
It's a lot of money.
The Killebrew one's going to be expensive. Like you've got stars in there. It's
Right.
not just Dean Chance. You've got legitimate pristine cards in your
Right.
garage. Protect those. Those are worth a lot of money. Chris's inheritance, even though he doesn't deserve it. Look at this. Cody making riches again. What'd you just see, Billy? What else is in there? What'd you just see?
Let me see that Killebrew card.
It's $690.
I'm seeing one that's $18,000.
If
No,
it's
of
mixed.
course.
If
No,
it's mixed.
He's got good cards in there. Killebrew. What else do you
I
have in
mean-
there, Greg? You better get insurance. You better get somebody smarter than Chris to run your account.
Keep them in air conditioning too, because for sure that heat is not good for them in that garage.
Oh, they're in good shape though. They're flying all over the garage right now. But Bob Skinner, manager, John Boozer. Who the hell is that?
Greg, go ahead. Let me just reel off 10 straight names. Let me see how many Killebrews and stuff you have in there.
Okay, at random, manager Harry Walker.
Nothing.
A rookie card with two rookies I've never heard of.
Give me their names.
Hal Gilson and Leon McFadden. Jimmy Wynn, the toy cannon. Okay.
Hold on, Billy. Look up that Jimmy Wynn. Look up that Jimmy
Williams.
Jimmy Wynn or Jimmy Williams?
Jimmy Wynn, W-Y-N-N, the toy cannon.
Okay, so
There's also a Harmon that's 79 cents. So
I can help you guys out here because I looked up most valuable 1971 Topps baseball cards. So if we hit on any of these names, we know we've struck gold. You want to find a Nolan Ryan, a Pete Rose, a Reggie Jackson, a Roberto Clemente, or a Thurman Munson.
Okay, somewhere in here I have Pete Rose rookie card.
yours look more like 72 though.
Wait. What? You think
somewhere I have Pete Rose's rookie card, but I don't see it. There's hundreds of cards here that I'm leafing through. I'm trying to look for another big name.
Did you hear the names you're actually looking for? He's asking you, Mike Ryan is telling you to look for a specific 5 or 6 names.
Pete Rose's rookie card goes for 150 grand.
Pete Rose's rookie card might be $150,000 if you got the right one, the right brand, if it's in pristine condition.
Yeah, it's got to be in great shape for that.
It's also have to have, because there were reprints on these editions. So you need to have like first edition, kind of like what's going on with Top Shot. If you have the number 250 Johnny Bench, you might be on to something.
Greg, listen to me when I'm telling you this. You are going to have to get off the phone here soon and hire at $1,000 a day, our security. You're going to have to get your garage protected, and you're going to have to make sure that the nation doesn't come down during this difficult time into your dirty garage filled with hoarding, because you've got, I can't believe the size and the number of boxes of these things that he has. He's going to be digging through money, and it might all be $3 at a time. It might not have any actual worth, but he's got the possibility of having some worth there.
Actually, I'm surprised. I'm looking on eBay right now for the secondary market, and the Johnny Bench thing it's got a wide variance, but I don't think that's much now anymore. I'm going to look up 1976 Gerald Ford presidential sign.
You should.
But still,
how do you look up what they're worth?
You get someone smarter than your son to do it. Billy seems to be pretty good at it.
There's a baseball price guide online. Just go to it. That's it.
Thank you for all your help, Stugotz.
Well, he asked. I gave him,
Okay, but he doesn't know how to look anything up for himself.
Totally
he doesn't know how to do anything for himself, including wipe his own ass. And you want him to go searching for the internet when he's got what he's got there, indisputably.
Does Greg have internet?
Greg, what you have there, indisputably, is, if it's in decent condition, is thousands of dollars. Okay, if everything you have in there, it doesn't mean that you might have something that's worth $1,000 or $100,000 in there, but you can certainly sell those cards $4 at a time and make thousands of dollars if you wish to. Stugotz, you know the card business enough to know that, correct? If they're in decent condition,
they have to be in mint condition. You get a little less if they're not in mint condition, but you'll
a lot less
but
if they're not in mint condition.
You'll still get decent money for them. Like when I was collecting cards growing up, I had folders. I put them in sleeves. I kept them mint. I haven't sold them yet. Eventually I will. But that's what you have to do, Greg. I would start taking care of those cards, man.
Yeah, I'm going to organize them because right now they're just in disarray.
I found the exact sign that Greg has from President Ford on eBay for $50.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right,
value.
Greg, we're going to do this again with you. We're going to do 4 shows this week. Okay. We're going to be doing Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And somewhere in Thursday and Friday, I want you to put aside, I want to go through some of this stuff here because this is a fun exercise. This is a garage that has been the same since what year, Greg? You're walking into a garage
71
that has been the same. Is that when we stopped putting things in that garage, 71?
Well, we've lived here since Christopher was very young. So we've lived here like since the early 90s, I think.
Okay, so this got brought over from another house, or this is your parents, or this belongs to Uncle Dick's Rough Riders? Who does this belong to? Because there's going to be a family fight over the rights here. You're about to be very rich if you have a couple of things in there.
No, these are all my cards that I personally collected. My card collecting years were, I think, 1965-ish to about 72.
All right, so how many cards do you believe you have? If I asked you the cards that you have in some level of really good condition, how many?
Several hundred. I mean, it could be 1,000. I'm looking at three or four shoe boxes right here, and I think I've got others.
Okay, so of those, how do you feel about the condition of what you're looking at? Because what it looks like from over here is very good condition. It looks like those cards have been taken care of.
Yeah, most of them are in excellent condition. But like I say, some of them, like a dumbass kid, some of them I literally wrote on the back. Like I wrote numbers.
Okay, but Greg, it's fairly amazing. This is the stuff that gets found in family fortunes and estates sometimes. It might not have anything in it, but this is the kind of stuff that's old enough to actually have value if we can find something. So let's play this game before we play it again later this week. Grab 10 cards at random. Just grab any 10 cards you have in there. And Billy, let's see if we can keep up with Greg here and teach Chris some things, because he's going to have to manage a family fortune. He doesn't know what year baseball cards are while looking at all the numbers on the back.
I've never met a person who does not, especially one who loves baseball, who does not know how to read the cards.
It's just weird. You guys obviously never looked at a Beckett before, the magazines that show you these values. I mean,
all right.
You're just wrong about this, and you're loud wrong.
New game. Real value or sentimental value with Greg Cody.
There you go.
Grab 10 cards, Greg.
We will figure this out as we go.
Okay, here's manager Gene Mock.
Okay, wait a minute.
Name drop.
Name drop.
What year? Hold on, please. Gene Mock is what year? Gene Mock was an old man my entire adult life. Right. So a card of Gene Mock, he might be old and he might be 27 years old and still look old. What year is that card?
You know, with a manager, they don't say. It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
This might be the 71 set still, though.
Okay.
Oh, here's Glenn Beckert, great Cubs second baseman.
All right, let's
1967.
Okay,
right,
let's slow down. What is the brand manufacturer on the 1967 Glenn Beckert? You're going to give me 10 names here. Let us keep up with you so we can do this for the audience and get the possible payoff of actually finding a card that has a lot of worth. So you already gave us Glenn Beckert, 1967. Who's the manufacturer?
Topps.
Okay, give me another one.
Cubs pitcher Ken Holtzman.
That's going to be a good one, I think. Okay, Roy, please look that up, because Billy, you look up. All right, you look up, Billy, you look up Glenn Beckert, and we'll come back around on these and we'll get from everybody. Ken Holtzman is the second one, Roy. He's on your docket. Go ahead, give me another one.
Giants outfielder Frank Johnson.
All right.
1968 Topps.
Okay, 1968, Frank Johnson. Cortez, look that one up for me, please. 1968, Topps, Frank Johnson. Go ahead. Keep going.
Cubs pitcher Kurt Simmons, 1966, Topps.
Okay, let's do, go ahead. Who can look that up? Whittingham, look that up for me, please. Kurt Simmons, 1966, and we'll circle back around and go around the room, and you guys will tell me a general worth. Go ahead, Greg.
Okay, I got waylaid here because a couple of football cards popped in. Indians.
Hold on. Give us
the football.
Give us the football cards. We'll put them in the mix as well. See if they're worth anything.
Okay, hang on.
See if we have found a treasure.
Oh, look at this, Johnny Unitas.
Oh my God, Johnny U.
Wow.
Okay, hold on. What year?
Hang on.
Rookie card. Make it a rookie card. Make it a rookie card. Please. Make it a rookie card.
It doesn't say.
That might be the rookie card.
No.
Give me more information on this.
More information on the Unitas card. Give us more information on it.
Show it to him. I can't.
25 on the back. It appears to TCG. I think that's top.
All right, Chris, do me a favor. Just hold that one aside for a second. Let's see if that one's going to be paid.
Okay, I found it. Oh my God. On eBay, I see one price for $1,500. Now, like anything, it all varies on condition, but this is a good card. Cheapest I see is $125. It goes all the way into the thousands of dollars.
See, this is Greg. This is what I'm mint. Greg, you were about to throw that, like you threw that to the side. It's a football card. You have got a lot of money in whatever it is. Let's go around the room here. There's going to be some $2 and $3 ones. Have you guys had enough time to look some of these up so far?
I feel confident in saying median price on Johnny Unitas is $600.
Yeah, somewhere in that range. Greg, couple more names real quick.
We got another Hall of Fame football player, 1963 Green Bay running back Jim Taylor.
And that's going to be worth some money too. That's going to be all right. Let's give me
Y.A. Tittle.
Oh, geez, no. That's you're lying. You're
Show me your tittle.
No, show it. He's not making that up. You got to be.
He has a tittle.
You've got a tittle.
Do you have two tittles?
Show us your tittles.
What's the number on the YA tittle?
124.
124.
All right, this is gonna be YA tittle.
It's got Jim Taylor too.
I know Jim Taylor.
No, Jim Taylor's. It's gonna
Armen
be.
Killebrew.
Oh my God!
Another one?
You gotta be kidding
Okay,
me.
so not. I mean, your Johnny Unitas one might be your big winner here.
Billy
Is this-
Martin. Willie Mays.
Oh my
no,
God!
no.
What year?
No,
What year?
Oh, wow.
That's a specialty card, though. That's
What?
a specialty card.
Oh, a
right,
specialty card. Wait a minute. That's even better. Did he write on that? Hold on. Willie
Tom
Mays.
Seaver.
Wait, what?
What year on
Tom
Seaver?
Seaver.
I'm going to his house and
How
kill him.
terrific.
I'm gonna have to
Yeah, we
murder
have to
him.
kill him.
I'm gonna have to.
We
murder
have to
him.
kill him.
Don't.
Where do we
edit-
hide the
edit
body?
this out.
Yellow
Edit this
Bird.
out.
No.
Edit. No, we can't tell people. Let's
Just
edit this
bleep it
part
out.
Yes.
Bleep it out.
Yeah, just bleep
we
out murder. We
absolutely
need to
ha-
murder him.
Where do
need-
we bury his body?
All right. Let's do this here. Billy, what did you find? What did your research find? What did you find on whatever it is that the player you were assigned?
I was looking up the Glenn Beckert card from 1967 Topps. It seems to range from $84 to $500. So from $84 to $500, more or less.
Who was
Wow.
Glenn Becker?
Stugotz is really regretting
I
that
think he's
he
a
didn't,
conservative guy.
that he didn't throw around more money at the start of this. Again, I remind you.
Greg has to have a price
I
right now.
remind
I
you.
think he's with the Blaze.
He's got an original Glenn Beck conservative card. Ryan, what did you find there with the player that he had in the box? Which player were you assigned to?
I was looking up the 1968 San Francisco Giants outfielder Frank Johnson, and that card cost $2.79.
All right.
Add it up, though. What can you tell me about this Willie Mays? You said it was a specialty card. I can't find it off of cursory search. Can I have
Yeah,
a
let's
bit
give
more info?
this might be like a specialty.
50.
What was that?
Number 50 on
Number-
the Willie Mays.
Number
Yeah.
50 on Mays.
Give us
Okay.
more
Back-
information
that's
about the
card.
card.
This is what the back looks like. It's
All
like a weird card.
All right, but Chris, for the
And it's a
audience,
Topps.
for the audience on the radio, explain to the audience on the radio what it says on the back of the card.
The Series 1 12 league leader card, 1971 World Series and playoff game card.
Could
I
be.
see $54.
Really?
Yeah, but that's just one.
Bargain.
All right. So again, a reminder that Stugotz tried to buy all of this for $500 because he knew it was possible that this is what was possible.
And Greg was ready.
He
to
was
go.
going to do it too. You had him on the hook. Greg was absolutely going to make that deal. What do you have there? Joe Morgan? Joe
Oh my
Morgan. What
God.
year on Joe Morgan?
And these are all in good
Top
shape.
one.
Yes.
Yeah, 71.
That's Big Red
132.
Machine stuff, man.
Hold on.
Two.
Again, Chris. Joe Morgan, more
Joe
information.
Morgan, more top 132 on the back, and it has all his stats. So it's a legit card. And we have the same one for Brave Hank Aaron.
Holy shit. All right.
299 is the number.
That
on the
Hank
back of
Aaron's got to be
Hank
through the roof right now.
Let's stop the show right
I think the
now.
Morgan's more expensive.
Aaron. Raleigh Fingers.
Raleigh Fingers. Okay, we're going to stop the show. We're going to do this, Chris. Do it.
Holy shit. Wait, did you say Hank
I'm
Aaron
out.
299?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hold it up? Let me see
Aaron
it.
Hank.
Let me see it. No. The front.
That's
Oh
it.
my.
That's it, Mike.
Oh my God.
That's it.
Oh my God.
What is that?
I see all over eBay. Cheapest price that I see off of cursory searches, $6,000. I see it listed for $42,000.
That Hank Aaron is in good condition. That's a good condition
Yes.
card.
But
Like
there's
that-
one that's $48.99 also.
Right.
Okay, but still. Okay, we're going to get this organized. I'm going to kill Greg Cody and now his son. I guess I got to do that too.
I'm telling you, these baseball card collectors are snobs, though, Dan. If there's any crease whatsoever, they will take the value down from 6,000 to 500.
Although, but
know?
you're forgetting the added value of being in Greg Cody's garage.
True.
Greg, you should sign these cards to add to the value, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
So the
Autographed.
Mhm.
All right.
order of this Hank Aaron one is not fantastic.
Oh, damn it. All right, so just sign your name there on the card.
Wear gloves when you guys are doing this, by the way.
Sign Hank Aaron's name, right?
Yeah, sign Hank Aaron's name. Put Hank Aaron dash Greg Cody.
Greg, we will check in with you again on Thursday, okay?
Even though you'd be dead by then.
Yeah, well, you will be. That's right.
Everyone's going to be dead. It's going to be like De Niro and Goodfellas. It's just going to kill everybody that has knowledge of this scheme.
Yeah, between now and Thursday, I'll organize them all, and I'll show you what I think might be the most valuable.
What a cliffhanger.
I bet you won't.
We'll talk to you on Thursday.
All right.
Hello and welcome to South Beach Sessions. I am Dan Batard. I want you to know that we taped this interview a couple of weeks ago. If you were listening to the radio show, you know that we had Armen Keteyian on, and I had a million questions, and you're probably tired of hearing me talk about that Tiger Woods documentary on HBO, but I really was impressed at the work they did over many years to really sort of show us the roots of how a champion became a champion in a way that sports doesn't often do. And furthermore, Tiger Woods has been in the public consciousness for 20 or 30 years, and I don't feel like I've ever known him enough or had the context to know him enough as I did with this documentary. So I wanted to talk to him some more. But then Tiger Woods got into that horrible accident, and we didn't want to release this at a time that seemed opportunistic on the Tiger Woods news, and we also wanted this to have the proper context. So this is me talking to a very good journalist who has done very good work about the life of Tiger Woods, not trying to be salacious about the dirty stuff, but just trying to understand how a champion became a champion. And I thought, beyond being spectacularly informed, I thought he was nuanced and thorough and fair about showing us a side of Tiger Woods I hadn't seen, and then allowing us to make the decisions and the judgments about how we felt about that. So here's Armen Keteyian, one of the finest journalists I've known over 30 years in this business, with an icon and the kind of information I don't think you're going to be hearing in too many other places. Here's Armen Keteyian. If you've been listening to our radio show for a long time, you know that I admire the work of this man, Armen Keteyian. He's done a lot of good journalism over decades in this business, going back to Sports Illustrated and beyond. And I wanted to talk not just about the documentary that he did about Tiger Woods that I'm sure you are very tired of hearing me talk about, but I came away really impressed that someone was able to go to the trough where everyone has gathered across many, many years, and they were able to give me a perspective that I had not seen before. So I wanted to talk to Armen a little bit about his process, and not just that movie that I'm sure you're tired of me talking about, but you can watch it for yourself on HBO Max. It's a 2-part documentary. I wish it had been longer. I hope that at some point down the line, Armen Keteyian decides to tell the other parts of this story, because we haven't gotten this kind of unvarnished look at Tiger Woods before. And I just want to talk in general about one of the greatest athletes, overcovered by any measure, and yet somehow not covered enough, because I had never seen this glimpse before of Tiger Woods. So Armen was on the radio show, and we wanted to have him on to have a larger discussion about just Tiger Woods in general, one of the great athletes of our time, as we're looking at all these other guys like Michael Jordan in a 9-part series, and Tom Brady, and Derek Jeter's got one coming out as well, because I believe this is the most flawed look, the most human look that we're going to get at any of these guys. And Armen has been gracious enough to join us again. So thank you, Armen. Among the things that we did not cover the last time was sort of just the painstaking process of making something like this, where you are just absorbed and obsessed over, I don't know how long, writing a book. How long did you spend in the world of Tiger Woods? What can you tell us about how meticulous this project was?
Well, it was exhausting, Dan, in a lot of ways. I mean, exhilarating and exhausting, I think, at the same time. We were, between Jeff Benedict, my co-author, and myself, I mean, we spent 3 years of our life just embedded in Tiger's world. And, you know, when we started the project, we were coming off of The System, which was this deep dive we did into big-time college football. And that was another 2-year project that basically consumed my life. And honestly, I didn't think that Tiger merited another book. There had been some 20 books written already on him, either by his father or by members of the golf media. And we were just like, wow, does the world need another Tiger Woods book? But what we discovered early on is that a lot of those books, most of the books, were written with a very specific time period of Tiger's life. Earl, certainly in the upbringing of Tiger Woods, when he turned pro, John Strage wrote a really good book about Tiger's upbringing, and also as he was turning pro. There were books written, in the aftermath of his accident in 2009, but there had never been this comprehensive biography of Tiger's life. And I think, as you mentioned, there's a reason is that he was invisible in plain sight in a lot of ways. And that narrative was repeated over and over and over, whether it was by Tiger's people or whether it was the golf media. And getting underneath that, cracking through that surface, took a lot of time. And a lot of it, as you well know, is built upon trust. I think if there's one word that has served me very well over the course of my career is when you gain the trust of the Bill Belichick's of the world or the Nick Sabans of the world, or I'm sure your relationships with Pat Riley and people like that, that equals access. And then that equals information. But in this world, we didn't have that ready-made access that golf writers had. So we had to build that ourselves. And I think we had an advantage to a certain degree because we were coming in from the outside in. We didn't have any preconceived notions, preconceived ideas as to what the book was going to be about. And so really the first year was nothing but really hardcore research. I mean, I think Jeff and I, between the two of us, we read 20 books on Tiger. We read books about Buddhism, the Navy SEALs, sex addiction, the business of golf. And so we had a foundation of understanding before we really started to make a list of people that we wanted to talk to. Some of them were household names, Hank Haney, Butch Harmon, Stevie Williams, people like that. But others were very different. They were names that may only come up once or twice in an article that might have been in the LA Times or in the Augusta Journal or something like that. And so we put that list together, and then you'd have to reach out to these people, and then you'd have to explain what you're doing. And then you have to gain their trust, and then you have to go and oftentimes meet them in person. I can't imagine doing it now in the COVID era because so much of this was very personal, getting to know people, them getting to know us. And then, as I mentioned before, we put together this massive timeline of Tiger's life, which I had never done. I think I'd written 10 books before this. I'd never done a timeline, and I don't think I'll ever do another book, if I do another book, beyond the one I'm working on right now, without doing a timeline, because it was so beneficial to us. And then you have to, when the reporting, and then you have to write the damn thing, and that took us over a year just to get that part done. So when we went to Simon & Schuster, when they met our price and we said we were going to do it, we were very clear with John Karp and Jovi Ferrari-Adler, our editor, that, look, we need 3 years for this book. And we needed, in the end, we needed every last minute of it because so much of Tiger's life was changing right up until almost the publication date in March of 2018.
What do you regard as the trust breakthroughs along the path?
Well, I know what it was like for me in the NFL, and it's really how you work. These coaches are very in tune to how people go about their business. And I've often said to journalism classes, and you know this, if you say A and you do B, you're going to get away with that a couple of times in your career. And you might get a big story off of saying, this is off the record, when it turns to be, when you write the story, you use that information improperly. But I think, if you say A, you have to do A. You can't do B. And that over time, you develop a reputation and a sense of integrity in your work. And thankfully, with both Jeff and I, we have this body of work that people in many cases were familiar with, whether it was Barry Frank, who was instrumental in so much of Tiger's early career at IMG, or Stevie Williams, or Hank Haney, or people like that. So that helps you. But then you still have to convince people that you have noble interests at heart, that you're not out to get Tiger. That's, to me, is like, if I wanted to get Tiger, I would have spent a year on the book and not 3 years. And that wasn't our goal. Our goal was to understand Tiger and try to humanize Tiger.
Well, it was to get him. It was just to understand him. Though when you say get him,
to understand him. Exactly. We weren't out, and you know it. I hate those words when people say, oh, are you out to get the guy? If I was out to get the guy, I would have done it in 15 minutes. I could have done that in a blog post. And for me, at this point in my career, and Jeff at the point of his career, these are the kind of mountains that we wanted to climb. Big time college football was a huge mountain. We were looking for another mountain. And, we said Mount Woods is about as big a mountain as you want to climb in this business. And I was really proud that I would say 95% of the people that we reached out to in the end agreed to cooperate with us in some form or fashion. Some on background, some just providing information that we could not attribute in any way, shape, or form, but helping us understand Tiger at certain points of his life. And then other people willing to go on the record, which was huge for us.
I'll get back to Tiger in a second, but you've mentioned the system now a couple of times, and I want to go back since you spent 2 years there, and I know we've talked to you about the book before, but the single thing that left you sort of feeling bad about the way the system works in college sports with the big-time coaches, the one single thing, Armen, you're not squeamish, you've seen a lot in sports over the years, but the one thing in your reporting over 2 years on that book where you're like, this is gross, this is wrong, this is unfair.
Well,
what do you
I
point
think it's
to?
the word student-athlete. It's athlete-student. There was no question that in our mind that the hours that at the elite programs, the hours the athletes were putting in and the emotional pressure that they were under and feeling in big-time programs, you couldn't help but feel for them. And, I mean, that 20-hour rule is laughable as far as I'm concerned with the NCAA, because we knew that there were actually players on the team whose job it was to create the 20 hours that they could send in to the NCAA every week in terms of that they were in compliance with that. I mean, I think if memory serves me right, there were like 40-point-something hours, 45 hours a week that we counted up. And then when you relate that to how much academic time they were spending, it was like 32 hours. So to me, that was the one thing that just smacked me right across the face was, and I knew that we can all have that student-athlete conversation, but to really witness it. And then I remember this quarterback from Arizona State, I asked him, how many weeks a year do you get off? Do you just get away from the program? And he goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks a year. 47 weeks a year, you're involved in some form or fashion with a major college football program. And so then now when we get into the whole name, image, and likeness debate, should athletes be paid? The whole amateur amateurism issue, that to me really struck me. And then I guess the one just funny thing, I talked to a quarterback at really a big time Power 5 program. And I said, what's it like to be the starting quarterback at your school? And there's a chapter in the book called Big Man on Campus. And I mean, if you want to know what it's like to live a life at 18, 19, 20 years old, to have everything and anything at your feet, anytime you want it, the most beautiful women, if you need money, you need a car, you need whatever, it's available to you. So I found that to be a fascinating part of the system because nobody talks about that. Nobody really is going to go on a talk show and say, oh, God, it was great to be the quarterback at XYZ University and I got everything and anything I ever wanted there.
Well, the sexual elements, I thought you handled the Tiger stuff with great grace because if you were out to get him, I really do think that you could have damaged him with the audience and with his sponsors and with everybody if you had simply spilled all the details about his sexual appetites. And my guess is you were embedded enough in this world that you could have. I can't even imagine how tempting that was, Armen.
It wasn't as tempting as you think because I've learned over the years. I think the Armen Keteyian at Sports Illustrated in 1985, doing the investigations I was for the magazine, would have been, certainly I would have presented that information to my editors there. And this was a self-edit. Both Jeff and I, before we showed anything to Jofi at Simon & Schuster, we self-edited a lot of things out because, frankly, I've come to the conclusion now, Dan, that if people's personal lives are their personal lives, if you do something that puts your personal life into the public eye, as Tiger did that night, that Thanksgiving night when he hit the fire hydrant, that's a different dynamic. But to go out and to actively excavate somebody's personal life for your own personal gain, I've really been turned off to that. And I feel like in our book and in the doc, the piano keys were hit in a way that you understood what the music was, but you didn't have to bang away at it long enough and hard enough where people turned away. And ultimately, one of the things I think I'm most proud of about both the book and the doc is there's a lot of women that read our book. And they read it because it's a great story about an athlete. It has very little to do on so many levels with golf. And it's about relationships, not only with Tiger's father, but it's really a relationship story with women. And I felt like we handled that really well. And that's not easy to do because it's hard to put yourself in other people's positions a lot of times. And so Jeff and I mean, thank God I've worked with Jeff Benedict for the better part of 20-something years now, dating back to my days at ABC News when Jeff was at the Center for the Study of Sport and Society with Richard Lapchick. And we got to know each other and as friends before we became collaborators. And I don't think I could have written this kind of book, both The System and Tiger, without somebody like Jeff, because he's such a good person and has such a terrific barometer for what's right and wrong. And that really helped us, because I think at a certain point in my life previously, I would have gone a little deeper into things, and I'm glad we didn't.
That's fundamental decency that you don't often find in today's journalism, but it is juxtaposed against, Armen, you just getting done saying you wouldn't imagine what a 20-year-old quarterback's life would be in college football. So from that vantage point, I can't imagine what Tiger Woods' life was that in that realm. A 20-year-old kid in college does not have Tiger Woods had every appetite available to him with a freedom uncommonly known to any man who's ever lived, I would imagine.
You're right. I mean, Vegas, to me, I spent a lot of time in Las Vegas, and I had connections in Vegas through friendships that allowed me to get into that world that we explored in the doc, but also, what it was like to be at the mansion, which is the villas behind the MGM Grand, which are as private can be, in Las Vegas, to go from the private plane to the private car to the private entrance to the private elevator to the private room. And when everything is at your disposal, when you're an athlete of the stature of Tiger Woods. And I'd been in Vegas during that period of time with the bottle service and in those high-end nightclubs, where you can spend $3,000 or $4,000 or $5,000 in the course of an evening and not even blink an eye. I saw what was available. And then in talking to other people in the Vegas community who intersected with Tiger, either in the clubs or in other places at parties, there's no question that anything and everything that he wanted was at his disposal. And that was another thing that I've learned over the years, is to not put myself or to try to moralize about somebody else's position in life, because under no circumstances can I understand what it's like to be an athlete of Tiger's stature. I've seen celebrity, I've experienced modicums of that in the course of my lifetime, but nothing that would be remotely close to what a Michael Jordan or a Charles Barkley or a Tiger Woods or a LeBron James or Steph Curry or people like that. And so we were careful, and it's just not in me. I'm just not in me.
But I just thought, Armen, it was the touch in the documentary shown by the glee with which the National Enquirer reporter was just enjoying all the opposite of the things that you're talking about. And it was unstated, and you can make your own judgments and you can be discerning. But without a word, you guys put someone in front of us who represents the change of that entire mythological sports construct that Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley were able to feed their every appetite without us ever reporting on it. Tiger Woods learned from them and then literally gets caught with his pants down because that's not an avenue we had ever studied before. And while you're not interested in doing some of this stuff, help me with this part of it, Armen. As a pop psychologist who has done the thorough reporting and is not judgmental and has studied sexual addiction, what is your best theory on what's happening with sex in a parking lot with a Perkins waitress, given that you are tying it to the roots of how he grew up and the lack of freedom and the discipline in his family? Like, how do we get from how he was raised to the sex addiction that would make you have a random, when you're Tiger Woods and you need random sex in a Perkins parking lot with a waitress?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, I'll tell you, just to back up for a microsecond, I think Vegas it's a bubble. You go to Vegas and you're protected. There's a reason that Michael Jordan and Charles Barkley, whatever they did there, never came out, because that's part of that Vegas culture. What What happens here stays here. But when you're in your backyard in Orlando, there's a different construct. And Tiger was in, Paris Hilton had a place down there where he would go at night and be in the VIP room. I talked to Fred Keteyian, who was the owner there, about what was happening in Tiger's world. But you're right, Dan. It's like if you're driving a Volkswagen down the highway, a Volkswagen Bug, and then all of a sudden you start to get into a sports car, and then you're in a Porsche, and then you're in a Lamborghini, and then you're in a Ferrari, and then you're in a Formula One race car. That was the acceleration of Tiger's need for pain relief. And in the beginning, I didn't know anything about sex addiction other than I was going to read this one book. And that led me to Bart Mandel, and it led me out to Arizona for the Meadows and talking to the people that were there. And I began to understand it as a form of pain relief. And Tiger must have been, and this is the pop psychologist here, but to have sex with Mindy Lawton in the parking lot of a church, a Perkins waitress that when you see her in the film, the first thing you think of is, really? I mean, this is where you're headed? And no disrespect to Mindy, but my God, she's not even in the same stratosphere as Elin. And you have that at home, and you're having sex in your garage or on the couch of your own home with this woman. What are you thinking? And the answer is you're not thinking. You have this overwhelming need to satisfy some form of addiction, pain relief, as has been told to me time and time again. And that to me is like, if you want to point to something as a breaking point in Tiger's life, or a moment where you're just going, he's just run off the road. I mean, you could point to that. And then when you do that, essentially in the National Enquirer's backyard, you're just asking for trouble. And that's what happened, is once he got on their radar screen with Mindy Lawton, and even though they were able to bury that story in the Men's Journal article that was written.
Tell the people who haven't seen the story how that transaction works to protect.
That was amazing. I mean, that was the first time I'd been exposed to that whole phrase of catch and kill. I mean, they had Tiger dead to rights. And the story, as the story goes, they called up, the National Enquirer called up Mark Steinberg, an IMG, and left a message, is what is Tiger Woods' relationship with Mindy Lawton, and hung up the phone. I can't imagine what the DEFCON 4 reaction on the other end was. And that began a long negotiation between one of the entities that was under the banner of which National Enquirer was under, to have this cover story with Tiger Woods and his workout routine when he was committed to, I believe at the time it was Golf Digest or Golf, one of the two major publications. And it was an exclusive arrangement. But that arrangement had to be rearranged so the Mindy Lawton story could be buried. That's one bullet that got dodged. But the National Enquirer now had him in their sights. And it was only a matter of time. And they were offering hundreds of thousands of dollars, I was told, to some of the bars, whether it was, I won't name them, but the noted bars in Orlando, to some of the owners and the general managers for tapes of Tiger in relationships with women, whether they were cocktail waitresses or wherever they were, in a semi-public way, in a VIP section, but still visible to a certain number of people. And, to their credit, they turned it down. But when they got on the Rachel Uchitel track and they followed her to New York, and then she got on that plane to go to Australia to see Tiger at the Australian Masters, that was it. That was the end. And then when that floodgate opens, you're going to get overrun. You're going to get buried pretty quickly.
This episode of South Beach Sessions is brought to you by DraftKings. UFC 259 is this weekend, and it's sure to be an action-packed card with 3 title fights taking place in one night. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight with 100-1 odds on either fighter to land a punch during the title fight. Pick either fighter in the main event to land a punch during this weekend's UFC 259 bout, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 100-1 odds. Bet $1 on either fighter to land a punch, and if that happens, you will cash $100. There is no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your own convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. Use a promo code DAN when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if either main event fighter lands a punch on Saturday. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. That's code DAN to turn $1 into $100 if either fighter lands a punch for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
For the uninitiated, that name that he just said, Rachel Uchitel, was the heart of Tiger's downfall. She had an affair with him, and it became very public. The story was interesting at the time. Armen, correct me if I'm wrong. I didn't believe that she had done many or any interviews before sitting down with you guys. I was surprised to see her there because I imagine her life got swept up and ruined in this. How did you gain her trust? And am I wrong when I say that that's one of the first interviews she's done?
No, you're absolutely right. It was the first major sit-down interview she's never done. And I mean major, I mean of any kind, of any significance whatsoever. I mean, I just looked it up today. Rachel was 34 years old in 2009. And, you know, a stunning woman, very smart, very sophisticated, you know, had been the top VIP hostess in both in New York at the Griffin and a number of top clubs in Las Vegas. You know, as she said in the doc, Tiger and some very prominent professional athletes came over to the Griffin one night. Rachel was there. She met Tiger. He immediately texted her that evening, and that began their relationship. It was interesting for us because I mentioned about 95% of the people that we talked to originally decided that they would work with us in some form or fashion. Rachel was not one of those. Both Jeff and I reached out. Rachel did not really respond in any form or fashion. And then Jeff just told me this about, I don't know, it must have been about 3 weeks ago or a month ago when the doc came out, that Rachel was on a beach in the Caribbean and she read the New York Times review of the Tiger Woods book, which Dwight Garner did. And it was, I mean, I'm still to this day so grateful and astonished as to how good it was and how good it was for us. She read the review, she got the book, read the book, and then she immediately almost texted Jeff and said, you know, I'd like to talk to you guys, because she was impressed with how fair we were with her in the book and the texture and the tone of our writing and reporting. That began a communication really between Jeff and Rachel for the better part of, you know, several months. And then when Alex Gibney obtained the rights to the book, we had drinks in New York, Rachel, myself, and Jeff and Alex, where she could meet Alex. Alex could explain his vision for the doc, what he was going to attempt to do. And then Alex was able to put Rachel in touch with really Matt Hamachek, one of the primary two directors on the doc, and Jenna Millman, one of the top producers. And that began a whole different relationship between Matt and Jenna and Rachel. And in the end, Rachel felt comfortable enough to agree to the interview. And then she sat, I was told, for 8 hours for the interview. And I sat for 5, and I know what that was like. It's exhausting in so many ways. And I can't imagine that she spent 8 hours, but to her credit, I do know that they were extremely concerned that the portrayal of Rachel's relationship would be true to Rachel's feelings about it. And I think unquestionably that comes across in the doc. And she was a pivotal, as you can only imagine, a pivotal person. Not only does she end the Act 1 in this great cliffhanger, but she is the centerpiece, I think, in many ways of Act 2. And, you know, I think without Rachel, you only get a certain part of the story that you're really missing without her in it.
Your timing with her is so great, too, because I imagined as she told her story how liberating it must have been to get this weight off of her. Like, my guess is that she easily had the stamina for those 8 hours, specifically because she's wanted this off of her for more than a decade. She got buried in this.
You're absolutely right. It was liberating for her. And I think, to be able to, I can't imagine carrying around, whether it's what her relationship with Tiger was or some other deep, dark secret that you carry individually for a decade or more, and to be just pillared the way that she was in the media. And she said it, to her credit, she was not she was a mistress, she was the whore, she was all of those things that those words just so easily come out of people's mouths. And to me, one of the most cringeworthy moments in the doc is when the paparazzi are just hounding her to death. And it's not just the cameras, it's the questions. They're so degrading of her as a person. And I go back and I think I understand what it must have been like for Elin to see some of this, but you also have to understand, I think, in a very human way, what it was like for Rachel to go through this. And nobody cared. She was exhibit A of the hussy, or whatever you want to call her. And that view, that moment at the View where they're just making fun of her for their own enjoyment and for the audience's enjoyment. And I'm like, that's just gutter journalism to me. And I don't say that without thought going into it, but if that's where you're gonna travel, to me, that's like, I'm trying to go the other way. I'm just trying to elevate rather than denigrate. And you know me, I've been tough on people, and I have a reputation for asking very direct questions, being prepared, not taking a lot of bullshit from people, but I'm also respectful to people when I sit down with them. And I think that's a reason people sit with me, because they know I'm going to have a respect for their answers. Unless they want to, you want to cross swords with me, I'll do that too. But in the end, it's about respect and it's about professionalism. And I didn't see a hell of a lot of that in Rachel's life for a long time. And I think what we gave her was that opportunity to be in a world where her opinion was respected.
You generally have to calm down. This sword crossing is unnecessary here. We haven't elevated to that level. You triggered a number of follow-ups, though. When you say cringeworthy moments in the doc, what are the top ones for you? Because there's something else I want to ask you about Elin. I imagine that was the only voice missing, and I wonder how close you got to talking to her, because I can't imagine the suffering of that woman having to endure that in public.
We didn't get that close. We made some inquiries and we were, politely declined. I think to be able to get the writer from People magazine that wrote really the only story of significance about Elin, which was the cover story of People, was, I think, a significant moment in the doc. That, mommy's got a boo-boo in her heart, that whole you can't really see where the pain is. She's such a class act. She's so smart. All the people that I've talked to, they don't talk about her beauty as much as they talk about her brains and how smart she is. And so when you take that into consideration, would we have liked to have Elin? Yes, but I completely understand her decision not to speak in any way, shape, or form in public beyond what she did with People. Cringeworthy, I think, for me, that what we talked about, that tabloid journalism side of it to me was a look in a mirror that I was like, wow, this is where we are as a society. And I think now you have to remember that was 2009 and 2010. We're a decade and more after that. And we haven't had one of those in a while, certainly not of the significance of Tiger Woods. And I can only imagine in this day and age, the fall from grace for an athlete, what that will be like. And, I'm sure we're going to witness it because it's going to happen somewhere, somehow, some way. But I think that to me was the one part that really disturbed me, because I was reliving it in a way. And then the other one was Billy Payne at the Masters and his, I think, as we talked about, just a completely inappropriate time and place to lecture people about their own. It was just so hypocritical.
Well, I want to bring this up because I have a number of questions there. For those who haven't seen the documentary, what Armen is talking about there is basically this blowhard running an event known as the Masters, okay? And I want to talk to you about the race elements of this, Armen. Is a place that I would have liked to have seen you go deeper, even though you went plenty deep, because what was happening around Tiger to me was fascinating as a prism to view the way the customer looks at the athlete so often in sports, across sports coverage, Armen, where Tiger Woods was a proud member of their club when he was behaving quote unquote white. And then what ended up happening was a betrayal that felt like, oh, he's not the moral man we thought he was. And then it felt almost like he returned to being black, even though he's always self-identified as, no, don't necessarily make me black, because he's always been very comfortable in this world. The race part of this I thought was fascinating, and you went pretty deep. I just wanted to see you go deeper.
You're right. I think the racial side of this Tiger doc was fascinating for all of us. And Sam Pollard is a black producer that was very involved in the doc. We were acutely aware that, it was predominantly white people talking about an iconic black athlete, even though he doesn't see himself as so much as black as he does multiracial. You couldn't dismiss it at all, especially at the Masters. I mean, my God, when, the only people that were, they're black there were either carrying clubs or they were serving people in the clubhouse. So all of that went into the equation. I thank God that Bryant decided to participate in the doc, and I thought he was pivotal because he's so smart.
Bryant Gumbel, for the audience. Bryant Gumbel.
Sorry, Bryant Gumbel. He's just so articulate about these things, not just race, but in so much of sport. And he's not afraid to call bullshit on stuff in any way, shape, or form. So, and I thought Pete McDaniel for us, terrific golf writer, African American, was another source of just real texture and context for us in ways that it's impossible. That's one of the things that, Brian Koppelman, who does billions, and he's a terrific television producer. He's got a podcast called The Moment, and I was on there with Jeff, and he really kind of raked us over the coals about how can two white guys write a book about an iconic black athlete. And our answer was, well, when you spend 3 years researching that person's life, I think it gives you the right to try to, in some way, shape, or form, put that person's life in context. And whether black athlete, white athlete, Hispanic athlete, you name it athlete, I saw a person I was trying to understand. And you're right, golf, and I think that's a really interesting part of Tiger's legacy is, as much as he has tried through the Tiger Woods Foundation and through his work with First Tee to spark a evolution of African-American black golfers on the tour and in college, in the end, it really hasn't been of great benefit. And I think the Tiger Woods Foundation, far more than golf, has had an incredible impact on underprivileged children in Los Angeles and around the country and other Tiger Woods Foundation offices. But as far as, I think right now, other than Harold Varner III and a couple of the young black golfers who have found their way onto select events, that's what you're witnessing on the PGA Tour. It's still 99.9% white. And, I think that has a lot more to do with the economics of golf than it has to do with anything as far as, as color is concerned, because the opportunities just aren't there no matter what the PGA Tour has done and Tiger's done and others have done.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope that the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/beach. ZipRecruiter does the work for you. When you post a job on ZipRecruiter, it gets sent out to over 100 top job sites with just one click. Then, ZipRecruiter's matching technology finds the person with the right skills and experience for your job and actively invites them to apply. You get qualified candidates fast. So, while other services may overwhelm you with applications to sift through, ZipRecruiter finds what you are looking for, the needle in the haystack. In fact, ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/beach. That's ZipRecruiter.com/BEACH. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/beach. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
I want to circle back around on a couple of things that we just talked about. It sounds like, Armen, that when you are having your cringeworthy moments in a movie that you made very artfully, trying not to be judgmental and being fair and telling the human stories of all the parties involved, that you arrived at cringeworthy the most when looking in a mirror on what journalism is. Now, you are an honorable journalist. I can't believe, though, that it was that bad for you, where you were disgusted with us because we were the thing that made Tiger Woods have that embarrassing press conference in front of a blue screen where he's got to hug his mom because we all have to be able to see Tiger Woods totally broken on something that would have broken any family apart.
Well, there's this word, it's called the media. That is a catch-all, catch basin for so much. On one end, you have, people that have absolutely no scruples when it comes to putting things, whether it's on social media or on a cable channel, that are just nothing but clickbait. And then I've been fortunate enough to work at 60 Minutes, where I don't think there's a higher standard of journalism that has ever been created than what I would go through to put stories on that show. So I find it to be, I get upset when people criticize the media, because that's like criticizing space. There's so much out there. And to me, I would rather be specific about people that had absolutely no concerns about anything other than making a name for themselves in what they said about Tiger Woods or what they say about athletes, to having a take on something. And one of the reasons that I'm going to polish your knob a little bit here is in terms of, one of the reasons I listen to you is because you think about what you say. Yes, there are moments when you're just entertaining us, but there's a reason that, that you're a columnist, that you think things through and that you have points of view. I get so sick and fucking tired of listening to people that don't know what they're talking about and feel the need to spout something out because they're trying to make a name for themselves. So you've now kind of touched the hot button with me, and I've been around long enough to feel like I have a right to this opinion. I have moments where, the profession of journalism just, it's a lowercase p for me. And I'm really, I fight that with people because I know how much good is out there. I know how hard people work. I know when people would say to me, like, I know that CBS News is a leftist organization, I would say, you have no idea what you're talking about. Because I sat in those meetings where these decisions were being made on what we would put on the air every single night. And there wasn't a word said about left or right or liberal or conservative. It was like, tell me the best story you possibly can. And is it fair? Is it accurate? Is it true in the definition, that closest definition we can get to truth? And if the answer was yes, and I answered to Bob Schieffer and Scott Pelley and Katie Couric and Peter Jennings and Ted Koppel during the course of my career, I can tell you, there was no agenda. It was, tell us the best story you possibly can.
Mike, I need your help here because I'm uncomfortable in a couple of places. First of all, Armen Keteyian's language in a few different places in this podcast has been aggressively double entendre sexual in a way that I don't think he's intended. He just did a polish the knob.
I could do that.
He did a polish the knob and a touch the hot button. And I want to talk to him about journalism and 60 Minutes and what he's complaining about there, which is that's the highest end of vetted, meticulous content. But over the last 35 years from Sports Illustrated on, Armen Keteyian has seen a bludgeoning, a hatcheting of real news into fake news, and not a lot of discerning between what actually goes into what 60 Minutes is, which is as good a journalistic entity as there's ever been in this country. And it wasn't politically based, but I don't know with how aggressive that Armen's language is here on the sexual stuff. He had something banging hard and fast earlier. Like, I didn't. You did. I was going to call you out on it at the time.
You sent me that list of things I could say, Dan, and those were like A1 and 1A. I was like, you said I had to say something about a knob. I don't know.
We're all adults here. We're all professionals. So that obviously leads to this question, Armen. Scott Pelley and those pecs in person.
The arms.
I know he really enjoyed that Hugh Jackman piece that he did just because he got to clang and bang with Hugh Jackman.
Did you see where it was like it was perfect? The sweat on his T-shirt was perfect. We all saw that, and I was like, are you kidding me? I've worked out with Pelley in the same gym when we're in the same hotel. It's not a pretty sight for me. I can tell you.
But Mike, let's examine this with a 60 Minutes correspondent. Scott Pelley absolutely did that piece just after all these years at 60 Minutes so that he could strut around as a guy who's clearly very comfortable naked in the locker room with other men, and he could strut around with the giant biceps and throw around, clang and bang with Hugh Jackman.
I imagine everything that Scott Pelley pitches involves him taking his shirt off. Like, I really want to...
I wouldn't go that far. But I got to tell you something. When I saw that, I was like, oh, God, it's Hugh Jackman. I got to see this piece, right? And I hadn't seen it. Sometimes we get to screen other pieces, we'll be in the screening room and stuff. And I saw that. I was like, oh, my God, he's just – and that was during Scott's days when he was just – he was also the anchor of the evening news. And he was eating about 1,000 calories a day, and he was working out like a fiend. And I just kept looking at him going, then I saw that piece with Jackman, and I'm like, Jesus, he's just ripped. And as I said, I worked out with Sims a couple times, Phil, or more than a couple times. We did it a lot when we were on the road together. And I would sometimes just hit him on the back, like, hey, good to see you, Phil. And I swear to God, Dan, it was like a piece of concrete. Yeah. You'd hit it and you're like, my hand doesn't even move. It doesn't even go in. It doesn't indent in any way, shape, or form. And then I would be lifting 50 pounds and Phil would be over there with 250. And I was just like, really? Okay, I'm just going to go on the treadmill and not even bother with this because it's grade school.
He was an anchor. He was indeed an anchor. An anchor you could tie your battleship up to.
That is so true. I mean, I've been trying to figure out, I can imagine Pelley walking in and thinking to himself, because he absolutely trained for that, and he thought to himself some version of the joke, huge Jackman, and was thinking of himself, like that he's a huge jacked man. And there's also a piece they're going to be doing about the actor Hugh Jackman.
I think there was, look, when you have the best cameraman in the world working for you and you're Scott Pelley at that point in time, you can pretty much, do whatever you want. And I got to say, to his credit, as I mentioned, I don't know whether they spritzed that. And I would say this to Scott. I didn't say it, but I would.
Make the accusation here, Armen. I want to make news right here. Say right now to Pelley what you've always wanted to say to him about this, because your accusation is so.
Who spritzed that? It was like perfect. It just looked like right here. Mm-hmm. And I was like, where did you find that shirt? Did you bring that with you? It was already, pre-wet, and you just like, put this on.
He did.
And it was so 60 because it was, you're looking for those moments.
But you're accusing him of fraud there. You're accusing that. No, yes, you are. You are.
Scott.
You are.
Scott's about look, if I'm putting down markers on the best journalists that I've ever worked with, Scott Pelley's in that conversation for sure.
Has his piece on the seedy underbelly of Mr. Olympia come out yet?
He's working.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Armen, he's been working his whole life on this story.
One of the things that you mentioned about journalism and as it ties to Rachel Uchitel and getting her trust, I felt like that she basically, in 8 hours, gave you the story that a lot of people would have paid a lot of money to have read in a book.
Yes. Yeah, you're right. And I can tell you straight up, nobody was compensated in any way, shape, or form in the doc. And Jeff and I didn't pay a cent to anybody to cooperate with us. That's just you're cutting your own throat with that kind of journalism. And I think Rachel's personal story is worthy of long form journalism, whether it's a book or whether it's just a story of her own, because I know what she went through in terms of her non-disclosure agreement and how difficult it was for her after that. And I think that she, there was a lot of thought on her end before she sat down with us. And, that kind of trust factor, it doesn't happen every day, Dan.
I just imagine, I don't know, but I imagine she's gotten offers for her story. She sat down and gave you for free, it sounds like, something that would have been that story is one I would want to read. What this did, especially now, Armen, in 2021, when we're seeing how much has run through the filter of male privilege over the years, where this woman gets sideswiped on quote-unquote immorality and becomes a national punchline for being the one who wrecked Tiger Woods' life, when it seems like her truth is that she fell in love with him.
Well, I think that's no question that she was in love with Tiger. That's, to me, that comes across loud and clear in the doc. I mean, I didn't spend a lot of time with Rachel. I had that one big meeting with her and Alex and Jeff. I would not be surprised if she's been asked over the years to tell her story and that people have been willing to compensate her for it. But I think to her credit, you know, she held out, and she wasn't going to do it until she felt like she had found the right place for it. And, you know, when it's HBO and it's Alex Gibney and it's the two directors that were involved and Matt Heineman and Matt Hamachek, you're not going to get much better than that. And I think Jeff and I, because of our reputations in the book, the way it was received, it was the right time and the right place for it. But I think her story, and I don't know it as well as I think Jeff does, but from a storytelling perspective, certainly what she went through after 9/11, she lost her husband. You know, she's had a very rich life in a lot of ways. So would I watch it? Yeah, I'd watch it.
Did any part of the Tiger machinery try to get you to stop doing what you were doing?
Not to my knowledge. In the beginning in the book, what happened was it took us about a year before we reached out officially to Mark Steinberg, his agent, and Glenn Greenspan, who was then Tiger's top PR person, who formerly was the top person at the Masters for their public relations and communications. And we immediately, we received an antagonistic response to our request for them to even consider an interview. And it was right off the bat, we weren't on any sort of level ground at all. What they wanted, the conditions that they set for us to even discuss an interview with Tiger were, we had to tell them everybody that we talked to, both on the record and off the record. We had to provide them a list of questions prior to them even considering an interview. And that just wasn't something that we were gonna do. So, and in the end, you know, when the book came out, Mark Steinberg said on a press release that was, you know, full of falsehoods and did his best to denigrate what we were doing. But, you know, the book speaks for itself, and the reporting speaks for itself. And so we were always of the mind that I reacted a little bit. I'm the more fire to Jeff's ice in terms of those kinds of things. But in the end, we let the work speak for itself. And I do know for the doc that there were multiple attempts to communicate with Tiger's camp, and that was met with the decision to decline to be interviewed. So, but in the end, I'm sure Tiger at some point in time is going to do his own story. I do know that he's working on his own book right now. And, you know, when that comes out, I'm sure it'll be of interest to a large number of people. But for our purposes, I don't think we missed Tiger in the doc. If he would have been as open as some athletes are, then yes, maybe it would have worked, but we were never going to get there.
Armen, no, but I would have preferred to hear from his ex-wife than from Tiger. Tiger's a robot who's too well rehearsed and too sculpted in this landscape to ever give you anything that ever resembles honesty, vulnerability, humanity, like all the wires and stuff of his upbringing. I marveled at the fact, Armen, that the Green Beret was not the tough one in his parenting. No. I'd like to talk to you about this some more, but there's no more time. I've got to stop talking to you about this.
You're tired of me.
So we will pick it up some other time. I just want to add one thing to it as a spoiler for people who haven't seen the documentary. If you have not seen it, you should see it, because I really do think it's a bit of a work of art, and it was an artfully told, fair story. But between parts 1 and 2, the teaser you were talking about earlier of Rachel Uchitel coming into your screen and into the life. You've been telling the biography, the roots of the story. The craft is really impeccable, I thought. And then she comes into the screen with just the whiff of sexuality. And here comes the TMZ part of our story. And look, this is clearly out of Vegas and it's refined. And she turns to the camera and says some version of, "What do you guys want to ask me?" Like she's chewing on chainsaws. Was that something she was asked to do, or was that a natural moment?
I don't know. I called Matt Hamachek when I saw the rough cut, one of the rough cuts, and I basically said, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "Wow, that is some cliffhanger. That's some ending to Act One." And I never asked him. I know from my interview, they never tried to put words in my mouth. They never, not once. Would they ask a question multiple times? Yes, because they were trying to get a refined answer sometimes, or maybe a different take on something. But knowing what I know about Matt Hamachek and Matt Heineman, I find it extremely hard to believe they would ask anybody to say lines so they can use them in a specific way. I really don't believe they did.
I didn't mean to accuse you. I just meant it was that perfect that I couldn't tell.
I just go right to the other side of these things.
I couldn't tell. It was so perfect a moment between the two acts and as a bridge to the next kind of storytelling, as a cliffhanger, that I thought to myself, it's so perfect that I can't believe they got that as a natural, organic moment. I didn't mean to accuse the 60 Minutes journalist of fraud, all right? Relax. You're too defensive. Relax.
You're such a tough inquisitor, though. You know, I get with you. It's like I'm. This is an intellectual battle, Dan. So I'm not. I know who I'm talking to here. This is not you know, Tin Pan Alley here. I just I respect your opinion a lot, and I thank you for the nice things you said about the doc, because it means a lot to me. And I'll do your show anytime you want.
Well, Armen, what I appreciate, right, and what you articulated, and it's the reason I wanted to talk to you a little bit more about one of the seminal athletes of our time, is the things that you're espousing here about journalism and being meticulous about this stuff, whether it's sports or America as democracy shakes and we need a checks and balances. I really appreciate that you bring this kind of vetting and fairness to your work. It matters that there has to be a standard above the casual standard, and the work you did on Tiger Woods is not a precedent I had seen anywhere in my Tiger Woods coverage that included books and pop psychology. You just really captured him, man.
Come on, man. We're clear on that. You're gushing as if Scott Pelley were in the zone.
Okay, my bad. I didn't mean to
take my shirt off, Dan.
Didn't mean to polish your knob. Okay, get out of here, Armen. Good talking to you.
Welcome to Stupidity, home of the greatest media mind ever to walk the planet.
I tell you what, man, he's a literal titan across the entire media landscape.
Okay, so here's the deal. He's a true icon in every sense of the word.
He's loved and feared more than any being to grace this planet.
There's Stugotz, a man with a voice that sounds like Barry White and Beyonce had a Jewish baby.
God himself would pay $39.99 for a cameo. Fact of the matter is, you are about to embark on a transcendent experience that can only be described as psychological nudity. This is Stugotz, and this is Stupidity.
Here we go, Jim.
Tony! Welcome into another episode of Stupidity, the biggest podcast in the world, thanks to you. Please subscribe, rate, and review. Unsubscribe, resubscribe, re-rate, re-review. Mike, last week we played a game, Wing Go or Wing No. This week we're going to have Cody Zeller on. We're going to ZellHIGH or ZelLow. How about that?
I mean, we're just knocking out home runs here. Like, this is not even, like, this isn't even fair. ZellHIGh, ZelLow.
Why is it not fair? What do you mean it's not fair?
I mean, we're just hitting home runs. We're just hitting bombs. This is fantastic. This is Marconi Award winning here.
Yes, it is. It's 500 different ways to play a simple game called Yes or No.
We got to use the same questions, right? I mean, I'm not writing new questions.
God forbid you did that. I mean, the same exact questions I want for Cody Zeller. Have you heard Cody Zeller on with us? Because he's very, like, when Stanzik was doing the show with me, Cody Zeller came on 2 or 3 times. He has a very dry sense of humor, dry wit, but he's very, very funny, dude. You're going to find him to be thoroughly enjoyable. I promise you. You will fall in love with Cody Zeller, a man you never thought you'd fall in love with. You will fall in love with him by the end of this interview. I promise you.
I'm looking forward to it. Handsome dude.
Okay. You should talk some shit about your Knicks. I mean, the Knicks looking good. How about that? I mean, hey.
500. It matters. Woo!
I think we're one game above 500,
yes.
Aren't we? Are you excited? Thibodeau, Coach of the Year? What do you think?
I mean, yeah. Until, it all comes crashing down.
They're 18 and 17. They're 5 out of the 1 seed, but they're also they're 5 games out of the 1 seed. They're also 5 games out of being second to last in the East.
So what you're telling me is the East sucks. That's what you're telling me.
They're just as close to the Magic as they are to the Sixers. Yes, that's what I'm trying to tell you. And the Hornets right now, Cody Zeller's team is sitting at 16 and 18. They're the 8th seed right now. It would be Hornets Sixers, round 1 of the NBA playoffs. We, by the way, Mike, would get the Heat. That would be fun. Knicks and Heat, round 1. I'm already thinking playoffs for the Knicks. How about that, the Knickerbockers?
You've got them already in, huh?
Yeah.
You got them beating the Heat, though?
I do. I have them beating the Heat. Yes. Why not? Anyway, let's bring on our good friend. He's a good friend, or at least I think he's a good friend, but I think everyone's a good friend of mine. From the 8th seed, Charlotte Hornets. Let's bring on our friend Cody Zeller. Stugotz here. Let's take a minute for our friends over at DraftKings. I love telling you about DraftKings. I live there. Seriously. I spend so much time there. In fact, my address is DraftKings.com. UFC 259 is this weekend, and it is sure to be action-packed with 3 title fights taking place in one night. DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of UFC, is putting you in the center of this weekend's title fight with 100-1 odds on either fighter to land a punch during the title fight. How about that? Pick either main event fighter to land a punch during this weekend's UFC 259 bout, and DraftKings Sportsbook will give you 100-1 odds. Just bet $1 on either fighter to land a punch, and if that happens, you will cash $100. Amazing. There's no better way to put your MMA knowledge to the test than to put your money where your mouth is with DraftKings Sportsbook. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code STU when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 if either main event fighter lands a punch on Saturday. Place your bet and watch the fist fly this weekend. That's code STU to turn $1 into $100 if either fighter lands a punch for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older. New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT. How are you, my man?
It's been a while.
It's been too long, Cody Zeller. Hold on one second. Mike, I'm trying to record.
Yes, make sure you record.
Cody, where are you right now?
I'm in Portland. We fly to Minnesota today.
That's right. You lost to the Blazers last night. Sorry to say it like that, but you played the Blazers last night.
Exactly. So we got one more before the break.
Cody, just call me an asshole. It's okay. Just.
Oh, good.
We're gonna try out a new game with you called ZellHIGH or ZelLow.
Oh boy! All right, I can't wait.
It's so stupid. I love it.
It is so stupid. We maintain we can play this version of a game with anyone. Like if we had Mike Golick on, it would be it would be Golick or no lick. What do you think?
It's pretty good.
Mike, did you know? So Stanzik was producing the show the last time that you were on with us. The couple of times you were on with us during the pandemic. Mikey A is now taking over. I fired Stanzik, and Mikey A is now the executive producer. Did you know, Mikey A, it's pretty obvious just staring at him in the Zoom right now, that Cody Zeller's nickname in college was, what was it, Cody? You tell Mikey A what it was. Was it Mr. Handsome?
I don't claim this nickname. Kobe would call me the Big Handsome. That was it. I don't claim it at all. But yeah, I thought I left that back in college, but it's popped up a couple times since I've made the NBA. So yeah,
that's really interesting because in college I was known as the Wide Handsome.
I was known as the Short Handsome. How about that? I mean, who's the most handsome of the three of us? It's got to be me, right? I mean, I think it's me. Don't you? Oh boy! So what'd you learn? Last time I spoke to you, you were sculpting new crafts during the pandemic. Did you? You were doing a bunch of like chores around the house. I think your brother wanted you to fix something in the house. Where'd we leave all this in terms of what Cody Zeller learned during the pandemic?
I'm pretty sure last time I talked to you, I didn't have power at my house because a tree had fallen. and I was looking for a chainsaw to help my neighbor cut down his tree. So
yes,
a lot to update you on since then. Yeah, I didn't learn much of anything. I was also learning to play the guitar, which I think I know maybe 6 or 7 strings, and that's about it. So I actually the first game of the season, unfortunately, I broke my hand, and so I was rehabbing and asking the trainers what I can do to kind of get myself back in the court as quick as possible. And they were like, that guitar thing that you've been trying to learn how to play? He said, that's perfect rehab. You got a plate and some screws in there, so it'll feel a little uncomfortable. They were like, that's the best thing you can do. So anyway, who would have thought that it would become a rehab tactic early on in the season? So anyway, I'm glad to be playing basketball again, which is good.
Cody, were you aware we were trying, and we still are, efforting to put together an entire event where you actually play the guitar with real guitarists? Did you know that?
Yeah, I think you guys promised me Kenny Chesney. I mean, I'm not I haven't quite forgot about that either. So
I did promise you Kenny Chesney, and I am still promising you Kenny Chesney because no, Kenny's in to do this now, but basketball season has started again. So you and I, listen, it's on you now, okay? I've done all the work. I got Kenny Chesney ready to go. It's up to you when you have some time. We have to do it as a live event, so it'll be up to you when you have some time to do this.
Okay? He's top 5 people I'd want to meet. I grew up listening to his music and country fan, so.
Really?
Yeah, every song he's played makes you feel like you're on the beach, which is just my kind of music. It is feel good music.
He is a top 5 person. Mikey A, we have to make this happen, all right? We have to get this event going. Chesney was going to teach him how to play the guitar. You know that, Mikey A, right?
I just imagined you were going to get him Kenny G.
I'm interested in the other people in that top 5 of people Cody Zeller wants to meet. Who else is in that top 5?
Who else is in the top 5?
I love top 5s, Cody.
Almost as much as Mount Rushmore's.
I would say I'm a big Duck Dynasty fan, so the Duck Dynasty crew. Who else? I've never met Bobby Knight. For as many, growing up in Indiana,
you're a Hoosier.
Basketball. He's been around a handful of times, but I've never had the chance to meet him, and unfortunately, he's not in the best health anymore. So I'm kind of my chance of meeting him is getting smaller, but I still want to meet him at some point. Who else would be on the list? I'm a big Will Ferrell fan.
Oh, wow. I can make that happen for you, Cody.
Oh, wow. This guy knows everyone.
I'm writing these down. I mean, I don't know about Bobby Knight. I don't think we want him on at this point.
I think I can make Bobby Knight happen.
Right. I think you could broker that.
I think it's COVID. COVID has kind of limited me. He lives back in Bloomington now. And so we have obviously plenty of mutual friends, but with COVID, obviously, meeting up with someone is frowned upon these days.
All right, so Mikey, get Will Ferrell on the show and get Kenny Chesney. Who else?
And then probably top of the list, Peyton Manning. Manning, my childhood hero growing up. Wow. Colts fan. He got a good sense of humor. He's one of my favorite people.
Call Dwight Freeney.
Mike, I was going to say get him on, but really just call Freeney and tell Freeney to get him on with Cody Zeller. All right? So Freeney co-hosts the show with us occasionally. He played with Peyton Manning. So I am going to make your dreams come true, Cody Zeller. I am telling you, as long as you're willing to come back on, I am hopeful that you are. We'll do the event with Chesney. I am going to try to schedule an episode where Peyton Manning joins us as a guest, okay?
Oh, wow.
And you could geek out over him. And and Will Ferrell joins us as a guest, and you can geek out over Will, okay?
This is incredible. You know everyone. even Dwight Freeney. So I've met Dwight Freeney a handful of times. We're both Jordan athletes.
Right.
So he's signed with the brand. So I grew up as a huge Colts fan. Like, I wanted to play in the NFL. I wanted to be Peyton Manning to Marvin Harrison. Like, my whole closet as a kid was all like Peyton Manning jersey, Marvin Harrison jersey, everything. So then that was like the prime of when they were really good. It was in my childhood. So me and Dwight are both Jordan athletes. We were on a Jordan trip together, and I was trying not to, be all like, "Hey, I'm a huge fan. Like, you're my favorite." So I just sat down and like introduced myself. I was like, "Hey, I'm from Indiana, I'm a big Colts fan." And one of the other guys with the brand sat down, and he's like, "Hey, man, how did you learn your little spin move that you became known for.
Right.
And I was like, oh, I can't wait for this answer. Like, I was so excited. And he said it was he played basketball in high school, and that was like his go-to move in the post. It was like a spin move. And so he said when he got onto the football field, his coach in high school, he gave a lot of credit to his coach in high school. He said, however you want to get to the quarterback, you get to the quarterback. And so he kind of, started using his spin move. And so that's kind of, he was like one of the first to do it in the NFL, was to do the spin move. And now everyone uses it. But anyway, I thought that was the coolest thing, just because I was too afraid to ask any questions. I didn't want to geek out too much. But so anyway, it was really cool to meet him.
Like you're saying here, talking about how much you want to meet Peyton Manning. I think you could play Peyton Manning in a Lifetime original movie. If they made a movie about Peyton Manning, I think you could play him. You kind of have that way about you.
You know you do, right?
People told me that I look like Eli Manning. So when I played with Dwight Howard for a year, and he called me Eli the whole year because he thought I looked like Eli Manning. So.
Well, back to Jordan and Freeney for a second. I played Grove 23. Have you, Cody? I played the course. Have you played it?
No.
How about that, Cody? You know who took me? Freeney.
There you go. You had the coolest life. Look at all your friends that you know. You play golf. Like, I want to be you when I grow up.
Oh, no, I think I'd rather be Cody Zeller, drafted 4th in the NBA draft, making millions of dollars. But I guess no, I'd rather be me. You're flying to Minnesota today, so no.
Yeah, that's true.
What NBA city makes you the saddest? Is it Minnesota?
Oh, no, I could get in trouble for this. There's a couple especially the cold ones. The cold ones, especially in the winter. It's like, Oh, man, can I just go to a warm city?
He didn't say there wasn't an answer. He just said, nope, not gonna answer.
Well, because he knows I set him up. Listen, I'm a terrible friend because he knows that would have gotten him in trouble. And he was going to say Minnesota. He doesn't want to deal with that tonight. When you were playing the guitar back in your heyday, okay? Yes, in your prime, Cody, okay? I'm wondering the song that you played the best on the guitar.
Oh, this is a good well, honestly, Happy Birthday. I nailed it. I know Happy Birthday so well.
That's a tough one, Cody.
I think that's all that I know.
What's the song that like you're dying to learn how to play? What's the song?
There's a handful of country songs. Like if you know G, C, and D, you can play most country songs. So like Wagon Wheel by Darius Rucker, that's like an easy one that you can do. So I've learned that one. There was one, I'm Gonna Be Somebody. The country song, old country song, that's like an easier one too. There's only like 4 chords on that. So I know a handful of them, but I don't know if I'm big. I don't know if I'm ready for my big public debut yet. So.
How close are they to Happy Birthday?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. That's like the gift that I send to everyone. It's like, hey, it's his birthday. Let me send a happy birthday on the guitar. So that pretty much covers all my birthday gifts for about a year. So
I need to get Cody Zeller a Cameo, Mike. That's what I need to do. Are you on Cameo? Do you know what Cameo is?
I know what Cameo is. I haven't broken down and gotten it yet.
All right, I got to get you on there. I mean, you'll fall under my umbrella. It's a money-making scheme for me, but I mean, I got to get you on there. No, because people will just pay you like $200 to sing Happy Birthday to them into a video. Take you 30 seconds. I mean, we got to do this, Cody.
With the guitar, I mean, that's definitely worth it.
You're right. You with a guitar. That would definitely be worth it. Cody's doing some great stuff in the community. We'll get to both those things in a couple of seconds here. I want to play a quick game with you, and then we will get to ZellHIGH or ZelLow, okay? Because I've never done this with you. I do this with a bunch of guests to give the audience kind of a chance to get to know the guest a little better, and I don't think you and I have ever done this, so it's kind of like fill-in-the-blank type stuff, okay? Cody Zeller's hidden talent, not playing the guitar, is blank.
Oh, probably I played tennis.
Really?
I played tennis in high school. My parents made us play a fall sport so we wouldn't get burnt out on basketball.
Smart.
My oldest brother ran cross country, and Tyler and I are like, why would you ever run for a sport? That's the dumbest thing. So both of us picked up tennis. So I played from 7th grade through my junior year. So I played doubles, and I just stood up in the net and just killed everything that came near me.
Sure. Right. No one ever tried to lob you, Cody.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I still play a decent amount in the summer, so it's a lot of fun to play. And it's perfect in the summer. It's good agility and moving and being outside. So, yeah, tennis is kind of my hidden ability.
Like, are you good? Like, because I fancy myself to be a very good tennis player. Like, would you beat me, you think?
I don't know. How good are you?
I mean, I'm pretty good, Cody. I'm not going to lie. Like, I'm old, but I'm...
Hold on a second. Hold on a second. He was just telling Dwight Freeney about how good he was at golf until Dwight Freeney kicked his ass. Stop challenging professional athletes to games.
Zeller, I'm telling you, it's bullshit what Freeney did to me. I mean, he's selling me like he's going to shoot an 85, 86, like a 15 handicap. I get to the fucking driving range at Grove 23, and Freeney's hitting bombs 350 yards off the tee. Straight as an arrow. He's a scratch golfer, Freeney.
I'm pretty good. I'll give you that. I got a good serve. I play well up the net. I'm more of a doubles player, so I'm not a great singles player. I'm not great with my ground strokes, but I can obviously get to everything. I can cover the court pretty well. So,
all right, we won't play singles. Perhaps over the summer, Cody, we'll do, and maybe we'll do it for charity. Okay, we will do a celebrity doubles match. Okay, me and you, and we'll select our opponents. In fact, Marty Fish, I got to pick up all these names I'm dropping. We will have Marty Fish, a professional tennis player, captain of the Davis Cup team, I think. We'll have him put this together for us, okay? Are you in? Me and you, okay?
Good. Yeah.
All right, we'll do it for charity. How's that sound?
I feel like a little bit you're backtracking. You want to be my teammate now, but that's okay.
Oh, why? You want to go one-on-one single? You don't play singles.
Okay, let's play doubles.
All right, who's your favorite tennis player? Who's your favorite tennis player of all time?
Oh, I don't know. I don't watch a ton of tennis. One of the since you're dropping names, I'll drop one.
Yeah.
As a part of the Jordan crew, we were in Shanghai, China for a preseason game, and all the Jordan athletes got together, and MJ was there, and Roger Federer came, and he was one of the most down to earth people I've ever met. We talked for 10 minutes, and 9 minutes was all him asking me about, hey, how's your career? Are you healthy? Do you enjoy Charlotte? One of the most down to earth guys. He didn't want to talk any about himself. He just wanted to hear about me. So it's tough not to cheer for Roger Federer.
That's pretty damn cool. Cody Zeller's irrational fear is blank.
Oh my!
Like I have a fear of frogs, Cody. Like haphazardly, they jump. You have no idea where they're going. I've called cops on a frog before.
I mean, I think snakes. I think that's a pretty standard one though.
Yeah, that's rational. Totally rational. You're fearless, huh?
I love roller coasters, but unfortunately, I have a little bit of a fear of them now because I'm so tall. So, and also I don't think they even allow me on roller coasters. So I had such a small window of my life where I could ride roller coasters. I was tall enough, but not too tall. It was like a 2-year window where I could ride roller coasters. So,
how long have you been 7 feet tall? How long?
I was like 6'10" as like a junior in high school.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So you had that like 8th grade window to kind of ride on a roller coaster.
Yeah.
I got you. Cody Zeller's favorite movie is blank.
Wedding Crashers.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Mike, that's one of yours, right? Mike,
it's up there. It's up there.
Yes. Mikey A wishes someone crashed his wedding, so it never happened.
I'm a big Owen Wilson fan too. I think the other question people always ask, like, who would play you in a movie? What actor? I was like Owen Wilson, mostly because we both have messed up noses. So I think you fit my personality pretty well.
I have Clooney playing me in a movie. What do you think? Mikey A playing you. Yeah, of course.
I mean, if he can grow the beard.
Cody Zeller's favorite TV show is blank.
The Office.
Excellent.
Big Office fan.
I'm right up there with him.
You're co-signing that? The last book Cody Zeller read was blank.
The last book. I don't know. I'm trying to read the Bible in a year. I've never done it before.
Cody.
I'm trying to read the Bible in a year, but I think I'm already like maybe 15 days behind. It's only March 2nd, so it's not working so well. But yeah, I do not read books, so this is like it's tough for me. But yeah, I'm
checking out how many pages are in the Bible.
It's a lot. They tell me I can do it if I read 20 minutes a day, but even that's like I just fall asleep like the minute that I start reading. Everything's like everything's like a podcast or like an audio book or anything else, but actually reading a book, haven't done that since I was in college. So
do you know what page you're on right now? Because I know the amount of pages you have to read.
I don't know what page I'm on right now.
Okay. There's 1,200 pages in the Bible, Cody. 1,200 pages.
Well,
you got some work to do. I mean,
got some work to do.
You do. Your favorite hobby? Do you have a hobby? Cody Zeller's favorite hobby is blank.
Other than playing the guitar.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
I love your fucking sense of humor, dude. It's so dry. It's so awesome.
Shredding it on Happy Birthday.
Yeah, shredding Happy Birthday.
Just get the band together so we can come over and play Happy Birthday.
You, Chesney. Do you have a hobby?
Favorite hobby? I don't know. I love watching movies. I'm a big movie guy. So if I got a free evening, I'm laying on the couch watching a movie.
If the next time we have you on, in addition to Chesney, Will Farrell, and everything else, I promise you, Peyton Manning, maybe we'll do some movie calls with you if that's okay. Like let listeners call in and do some movie calls.
Oh, I would love it.
All right, you said you're a big movie guy. You said your favorite movie. What's your least favorite movie?
Good question.
Oh wow, I mean, there's so many of them.
I thought for sure Hoosiers was going to be your favorite movie, by the way.
Yeah, Hoosiers is up there for sure. I mean, growing up in Indiana, you have to love Hoosiers. I love animated movies too. I'm like a little kid myself, so I love like Cars. I love like Mater is my favorite character of anyone. Mater, Lightning McQueen. But I don't know of a worse movie. I mean, there's plenty of really bad movies. So
Ishtar.
I think it's called The Counselor with Michael Fassbender. Worst movie I've ever seen in my life.
I thought he was going to say The Last Dance. Have you tried to get on Jordan's course at all? Have you tried?
No, I haven't tried it.
Cody, do you even play golf?
I play golf a couple times a year. I love playing, but I'm not very good. But if I go with the fun crew, I really enjoy it.
All right. Well, Freeney's the fun crew. I can tell you that right now.
Sure,
okay.
sure.
Yeah, Freeney's fun. I'll get you out of here in a couple of minutes. Prank you because you're known as a prankster, right?
Yeah.
The prank you've pulled off that you were proudest of is blank.
Oh wow. This is a little bit of a longer prank, but maybe 5 or 6 years ago, I was a part of the K-Love Awards. So K-Love is like the Christian music station. So they do big awards in Nashville. So I went the first year alone. I was nominated for an award. So I went the first year. The second year, my parents were up for Book of the Year or something. So my whole family went. And so leading up to it, I created a fake email address and I emailed my mom, who kind of organizes our whole family. And I was like, hey, I'm, whatever, John something from the Christian Broadcasting Network, and I want to honor your family with an award. And so I set up my mom and I was like, hey, I would love to talk to the rest of your family. So my mom sent an email to the rest of us kids, my dad and us 3 kids. It was like, hey, we got this really nice email. We're going to win another award as a family, like Family of the Year. And so sent this whole thing. So as we got closer to all of us going to Nashville for the awards, I got more and more ridiculous with the things that I was asking. So I sent each one in the family like sample questions, and they were all like really controversial questions about there was a story my dad like threw baseballs at my brother to try to get him tougher. So I wrote that in there. It was like, what are your thoughts on throwing baseballs at your son? Like for my dad, it was like, what are your, for Tyler, it was like, did you actually take your classes at North Carolina? Did you have your tutors take it for you? Like just really controversial questions that no one would ask. And then as the day that we all traveled to Nashville, all of us were kind of like, and I even sent questions to myself to try to confuse them. So as we go to Nashville, we all land in Nashville, and I sent an email to the group saying, actually, all the success that the Curry family has had, we're actually going to give the award to the Curry family this year instead of to the Zeller family. So at that time we were all in the same room together, and everyone started going off. Tyler was like throwing stuff. I was like, how rude is this guy that he just takes the award away from us? So I'm in the corner. I'm like, yeah, this guy's the worst. Like, can you believe this guy? So finally I said it, and I revealed myself. So that was one of the better ones that I've done.
That is fantastic. Has your family forgiven you, or were they laughing? Like, what was the reaction on the big reveal?
Well, they know me as a little bit of a prankster, so I think they were like, okay, you got us on that one. That was pretty good.
That's like not even a prank. That's a long con. I love it. Like,
really
you set
is.
that up for weeks. That's awesome.
Yes.
Yeah, it took me like 2 minutes to create a fake email address, and then after that, it was like I had a hook, line, and sinker. So I was trying to come up with the most ridiculous thing I could think of, like, hey, we really like, Lori Zeller, we'd really like you to bring your curling iron to the interview. My mom just shows up with like, trying to think of just the most ridiculous thing.
The most random thing.
Would have done anything. Yeah.
I love that. Have you had to LaMelo Ball? I'm wondering because it seems like Cody, he has given your organization like a jolt of energy where you guys can like maybe. You're a playoff team right now, but I think for the next 5 years, you're probably looking at, look, we got this kid LaMelo Ball. He could be one of the best players in the NBA, and if he turns into one of the best players in the NBA, you guys are going to be good for a really long time, Cody.
You think people actually want to watch us play basketball?
I know. It's crazy. I've gone out of my way to watch the Hornets play basketball.
Are you kidding me? The Hornets are on the – oh, LaMelo's playing though.
But is he that good? Is he that good? I mean –
yeah, he's really good. He's a lot of fun to play with. His passing is his best asset, and even recently he's already figuring out how to score and get others involved. And it's unfortunate that we haven't been able to have fans because – we sense the same thing in Charlotte. There's kind of a certain excitement about our team locally, so we're excited to get fans back in the building. But I've been impressed with him. He's much more mature than I ever imagined. I think you see his dad and you see kind of the circus of his family, but he's super mature and he's always in a good mood. He's a happy kid, and he asks good questions in film sessions. He's mature, so yeah, he's been great to play with.
Have you had to have any moments with him, like senior moments, like, hey, I've been in the league for a while, like take it easy, you're getting carried away, or no? He seems like a pretty grounded kid.
Yeah, not really. He's pretty grounded. So I think it helps that he's played overseas the past 3 or 4 years. So he's been around grown men. So yeah, I think that's kind of helped his growth.
All right, we're going to go ZellHIGH, ZelLow, talk about what you're doing off the court because it's fantastic stuff, and then we'll get you out of here. Peeing in the shower, ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
What's ZellHIGH or ZelLow?
Well, it's essentially yes or no.
Okay.
ZellHIGH is yes.
Yes, ZellHIGh is yes.
I'm gonna say no. ZellHIGH.
Okay.
ZelLow.
ZelLow. Okay. Yeah. GameStop stock. ZellHIGH. Yes. ZelLow.
ZellHIGH. I'm a fan. I got nothing wrong with that. Yeah.
All right.
I didn't capitalize on any of it, unfortunately, but I thought it was really cool. The billionaires lost out, but
yes,
a bunch of people getting together and driving up the stock. I don't see a problem with that.
I don't think Michael liked it though. I think
sure. The guys that really missed out is one of our part owners. So
yeah, I know.
That was not good for them.
No, not good for them. But listen, they got LaMelo Ball and you, so they're fine. Peeing in the pool. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
ZelLow.
Really?
ZelLow.
You only pee in a toilet, huh, Cody? That's it. Farting under the covers. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
I guess ZelLow.
Okay. Picking your nose. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
ZelLow.
Okay. Singing in the shower. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
ZellHIGH. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, that a boy. Yeah. Eating food after you dropped it on the floor. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
3-second rule. ZellHIGH.
Throwing out the "Do you know who I am?" ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
ZelLow. Absolutely.
Really?
Even if someone knows who I am, I'm still denying it.
I'd be like, I'm fucking Peyton Manning, man.
I'm the other Manning.
Yes, I'm the other Manning. Whichever Manning you want me to be, I'll be him.
Cody Manning.
All right, quick ones. Tofu. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
ZelLow.
Harry Potter book. ZellHIGh, ZelLow.
ZelLow.
Yeah, we don't read. You and I don't read. That's why we love each other.
Roller
coasters. Yeah, this is ZellHIGH. We already know the answer. Ketchup on hot dogs. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
ZellHIGH.
All right, cool. Rom-con. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
I'll go with that. ZellHIGh.
Okay. Pineapple on pizza. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
ZelLow.
Okay, I'm with you on that. Referring to yourself as the big handsome. ZellHIGH, ZelLow.
ZelLow for sure.
All right, Cody, we appreciate the time as always. Talk about what you're doing with Kicks for Kids. You have two things that you're doing right now, but talk about Kicks for Kids for a second.
Yeah, so I started my own foundation last year called Like a Child Foundation, and it's like we were talking about. I love animated movies and being a kid and laughing and having a good time. And so we started that, and as kind of a crash course, I feel like everyone does a golf outing or a gala. And so we came up with, kind of stole the idea from the NFL, does the My Cleats, My Cause. The NBA has never done anything like that. So we came up with this Kicks for Kids. So last year we picked 4 nonprofits that all help kids in different ways. So the Children's Hospital, Big Brothers Big Sisters, TAPS, which helps kids and families of fallen soldiers. And so this year it's back. It went really well. Over quarantine, I had more time on my hands than I knew what to do with. So we came up with a website, a logo, and it looks like a legit nonprofit now, which is really fun. And so we're doing 5 pairs of custom shoes again this year, and picking different nonprofits. So we did Child's Place, which helps feed kids, homeless children in Charlotte as well. And the last one that we did was for Make-A-Wish. And so Make-A-Wish was, we found 4 kids in Charlotte that all hadn't had their wishes granted. And so we were able to grant those wishes. So we were able to make a $15,000 donation through the foundation and grant those wishes, which was really cool. So anyway, coming up now, we have 3 more pair of custom shoes. And so we're going to do that. We haven't decided on any of those 3 yet, but we have a grant application on our website that we're accepting grant applications through March 12th for another 10 days or so. And then we'll pick the ones from there. So it's really cool. It's really fulfilling. It's awesome. It kind of reminds me of, regardless of what happens on the court, there's more to life than what happens on the basketball court.
And where can people go if they want information or they want to make a donation or contribute in any way they can?
Yeah, everything's on likeachild.org. So the grant application is on there. There's a spot where you can donate if you want to do that. And there's all kinds of pictures and videos of the shoes. The custom shoes are really, really cool. It's a local guy that designs them all. And I just basically give him like, hey, it's for Make-A-Wish. Here's the 4 kids and their wishes. And he comes up with the whole design. So they turn out really, 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 really cool.
That's so great. All right. Keep up the good work. We'll keep promoting that for you. And good luck in Minnesota, man. Have a safe flight, okay?
I appreciate it. We got a long list of people that we're gonna have on the next show, so I can't wait.
Here's the deal, okay? This is what I'm proposing. We will get Kenny Chesney for you. We will get Will Ferrell for you. We will probably get Peyton Manning for you. Will Ferrell's easier than Peyton Manning for me. All I ask is that the next time you come on, okay? 2 things. The guitar is handy. You play Happy Birthday, okay? And LaMelo Ball, okay? I think that's fair. You, LaMelo, me, Mikey A, cutting it up. That's fair, right? I'll give you all these presents.
Just jamming.
I can do that.
Yes, I know you can.
Do
yes.
That. LaMelo and my guitar. That's easy on my end.
Guitar, LaMelo, and I will bring Farrell, Chesney, and maybe Peyton Manning, okay? Maybe. Put a maybe.
He's already saying maybe now. See, the list just got shorter. In 30 seconds, I have to bring something else now. I have to bring LaMelo, and the list just got shorter. I don't know.
You know me. That. So listen, I will bring Chesney, and you bring LaMelo, Michael, and your guitar, okay?
That's perfect.
Perfect, yes. Okay. Hey, have a safe flight. We love you, dude. We appreciate your time as always, and we'll do it again very, very soon, okay?
Thanks for having me on as always. It's always fun.
Thank you.
No, you got it, man. Good luck, man. Have a safe flight. Thanks, Cody.
All right, thanks.
Stugotz here for our friends over at ZipRecruiter. Love telling you about them. Dan and I always tell you, please support the people that support this show. ZipRecruiter have been doing exactly that for many, many years now. We appreciate them. We love them. And listen, sports is using technology to take the fan experience to the next level. The NBA used more camera lenses and 5G bandwidth to put fans courtside. Snapchat let fans virtually walk the official NBA floor. Digital fans in the stands could watch the games virtually and pump the players up. When it comes to hiring for your business, there's one solution that's been advancing its technology for years, ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/StuPod. When you post a job on ZipRecruiter, it gets sent out to over 100 top job sites. Then ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology identifies people with the right skills and experience and invites them to apply to your job. It's a winning formula. No wonder 4 to 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So if you want to step up your hiring game, give ZipRecruiter a shot. You've got nothing to lose. Why? Because right now, you get the chance to try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/StuPod. That's ZipRecruiter.com/STUPOD. What are you waiting for? Go to ZipRecruiter.com/StuPod. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. All right, we appreciate Cody Zeller. As always, support what he's doing off the court. That's important stuff. He's doing good work off the court. Mike, I told you beforehand you were going to fall in love with Cody Zeller, a person you never thought you'd fall in love with. Here we are about 25 minutes later. Have you fallen in love?
I think I have a new favorite player. Player because, I mean, he is so dry and he delivers everything so deadpan. It's amazing.
Yes. And he's just a good dude. Like, you can just tell Cody Zeller is a good dude. Now, listen. I made a lot of promises that I probably can't deliver on. Okay, Chesney, Will Ferrell, Peyton Manning. That seems like a pretty unfair trade just to get LaMelo Ball and a guitar. I mean,
to play Happy Birthday. I just hope that he bounces around the stage like the guy from AC/DC playing Happy Birthday on the acoustic guitar.
Is there another Chesney? Like, if he sees Chesney in the Zoom room, right? Like, here's what I'm thinking. With Will Ferrell, we can go with Scott Farrell. You remember Farrell? I think he's still doing it somewhere. Doing what? I don't know. Talking.
Is he a thing? Yeah. He's still in the league?
I think he is. I think he still is in the league, at the broadcasting league. The PBL, Professional Broadcasting League. So listen, that's what I'm thinking. I will come up with Scott Farrell. I need like a Chesney imposter, and I don't know what to do on. Maybe we'll bring on Cooper Manning. I
think I have his number.
Get him on. What am I going to do? I'm stuck. I made promises I can't deliver.
I'm going to give you the best piece of advice. Put down the shovel. That's the best way to get out of the hole. Stop digging.
I failed to mention, by the way, that I could also get Darius Rucker on. He mentioned Rucker. I can get Rucker. He's a friend of mine. How about that?
I would imagine he knows Rucker. North Carolina, Charlotte. Yeah, I imagine they know each other.
Bob Knight was a weird one. He played at Indiana. Set that up. Let's go. We should only bring Bobby Knight to the table.
I love that you just threw Michael in there in the last time. The last go around when we finalized it, when we signed on the dotted line, you threw in Michael Jordan for him to bring on.
I want you to get him back off air and just say, if we get Bobby Knight, will you bring Michael Jordan on? Okay, that's it. Bobby Knight. I don't want Bobby Knight anywhere near this show. What is Cody talking about? We love Cody. He is fantastic. Hopefully we'll get this concert together. We probably won't, but that will not stop me from getting
after the doubles tournament, which you also promised.
Wait a second. What the fuck did I just do? I promised this man a doubles tournament. I challenged him in singles. I promised him a cavalcade of famous people that I can't deliver on, all for a guitar and LaMelo Ball. Jesus Christ, stupidity.